Today I am following Jason Vinson around, and we're basically in a parking lot, and he's finding some racks and some other stuff to make some pretty work in a very challenging space. I also have a full wedding day coming up with Jason in the near future, so if you're interested, subscribe, like this video, and comment with your favorite pizza topping. Good morning, Jason Vinson.
Good morning.
What are we doing today?
Today we are doing a photo walk, master the light in photography. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of natural light, a little bit off-camera flash. I have no plan for today, so we're just gonna walk out, see what we see.
That's not true. I saw you scouting. We saw you through the fence.
I did look for which direction to walk.
How come you guys were in the cool place? Do you want to come in? I got you light.
But yes, I don't have like specific locations that I want to hit. I do know that I want to go outside and I do want to go off to the left. But other than that, we're just gonna kind of see what happens.
Do you want to do a little gear walkthrough of
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
might use today?
So gear-wise, the main camera is gonna be the Sony Alpha 9 III with the 35mm f1.2 from Viltrox. I also have, just for like some fun little side shots, I have the A7CR with the Sirui anamorphic. It's 40mm f1.8 with a 1.33 squeeze on it. And then in my bag, I have the new Sony 16mm f1.8, as well as the Sirui 85mm f1.4. And then I have a smoke machine and some mirrors and some other stuff that we'll see if that comes out. Off-camera flash, I am using dual Godox 8200 Pros with extension heads. Essentially, this gives me the ability to have 400 watt-seconds of power, but on a little tiny light stand because all the weight isn't way up tall. I can have it down low and it actually helps support the light stand. And with some of the intricacies with working with global shutter, it gives me more flexibility having two separate flashes instead of like one big powerful flash. Today I'm going to be treating this essentially like I would treat any session, as in I have a general idea of where I want to go and like walk, but I don't have any sort of plan as far as images except for the very first one that we're gonna do. I don't like to location scout because I like to see like in the moment inspiration as far as like light and composition and stuff. I found that whenever I would location scout, like something would always change, like maybe another photo walk is gonna be there and so now I can no longer do it, or maybe the light's a little different. It was sunny one day, it's cloudy the other day. And so I prefer to find inspiration in the moment. I'm gonna be doing like a demo and then I'll let everybody else kind of shoot as well. So it'll be a little bit education, a little bit portfolio type building. I have triggers for Sony, Canon, and Nikon that we can pass around if we need to. Have you ever used like your watch or cell phone to like reflect light in someone's face and like jack with them? So along that same concept, we can use a mirror to kind of modify our light and bounce it, and you get like the shape and the pattern of that light as well. So I was looking for a mirror that would line up with a blank wall so that I can project onto there and have like a clean composition. And so the way that I do that is whatever your eye sees is what the light will see. And so I can just look in the mirror and be like, oh, I'd see nothing. So I know that that mirror will project onto a blank part of the wall, okay? Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is get my ambient exposure. I think that should work. And then what I'm gonna do is just do a little test shot here. Hold on. Okay, and you can kind of see it here when I do the test shot. You see how the mirror is popping that little thing of light. And so I just want to make sure compositionally that it's centered between. Okay, where is Reagan? Reagan, join us. You're gonna be here. Your light direction's coming from there, so maybe kind of face this way and you're gonna kind of look over your shoulder a little bit. And with the flowers, you can just kind of maybe drop them down. Yeah. Open up a little bit to me. There you go. And then look that way a little bit more, and then eyes down. Can you take a step this way? Right there. Yeah. There we go. Without any flash, this is what my exposure looks like. Yeah. Face, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's roll.
Why do you use off-camera flash?
It gives me the ability to have a vision and like actually capture that vision, whereas with natural light, you kind of get what you get. Whereas I can go to a scene and kind of be inspired by the natural light or by something in the scene that I've seen prior that gave cool light, and I can use those with off-camera flash to create basically whatever I want.
What inspires you? How did you learn to be so creative and see all this light in this fancy way?
Well, come to my presentation tomorrow at no. Basically, it was just the desire to be different and not settle on capturing the same images over and over again, especially working at like the same venue. So I always have this thing where like I never want one couple to go to another couple's house and be like, pictures on the wall and be like, oh, we literally have these exact same creative images. And so the goal is always to get something unique for our couples, even if they give me like an old image and they're like, oh, we love this photo, we'd love for you to take it for us. Be like, oh, we'll take something similar with the same vibe, but it's gonna be unique, a little spin on it to make it unique to you so that it's yours. When I was walking out here the other day and it was cloudy, I just saw these like big blank walls, but with a bunch of trees. And so I'm hoping that there's some like really cool pockets of light or like dappled light over here, some shadows and stuff to play with. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone hates dappled light, but for me, I love the shadow and the texture, and it brings a bunch of drama. Where dappled light becomes an issue is when you're trying to pose like family formals, or you have like a couple and it might be a little bit hard to get both of them within these little pockets of light, but because we have like a single bride, it's gonna be a lot easier to place her within a little pocket of light, and we can use all of this shadow and texture to bring drama into the frame. What I'm looking for is a clean little pocket to put her in, and I can kind of surround her with it. And so what I'm seeing is this little like gap in the shadows. And so we're gonna walk on over this way for me, Reagan. Will you step this way? Just a little bit, right there. Yep, perfect. Okay, chin up just a tad. Okay, yeah, we're going over there. Okay.
Do you have any advice on how to find time to look for creative light on the wedding day?
Yeah, to do the practice like all day, every day.
That's fair.
So just walking around, and so one of the like big things that I teach, I call it seeing the light. And so I just walk around looking for interesting light like this dappled light, but then also asking myself, if that light wasn't there, how would I recreate it? So like if it was a cloudy day, I could set up a flash to fire through the trees to create a similar shape and pattern, right? And so on a wedding day, if you know off-camera flash, it doesn't necessarily become learning about finding interesting light, but finding the possibilities of interesting light. So my hope is that we can use one of these palm tree shadows. Oh yeah, I think so. Okay.
Do you take pride in using the location you know all that photo walk onto?
I do. And sometimes that's the only way to get images that stand out, right? Especially at wedding venues, when the wedding planner is like, this is where all the couples take their portraits. I'm like, okay, that's the place that I'm like not gonna go, or if I do, it's just to grab like a quick safe portrait to fill a gallery or whatever, but it's never gonna be something that's gonna like be shared super publicly. So the first thing I like to do is get an idea of what focal length I want to shoot at and what composition I want before I place her. My initial idea was to place her here, but once I actually got my composition, I want to include that palm tree. And so if she's there, she's like way on the very edge of the frame, so she actually needs to be like right about here. Okay, can I get everyone, I'm shooting at 16, so if you could maybe get everyone to scoot that way or come over here as well.
Good.
Perfect. I think you're good, yeah, and I also don't want these like, I don't care that there's stuff on the ground, I just don't want it to be like lines, right? This is fine. Sorry, the tiniest bit that way, right there. Yep, perfect. Can we ditch the flowers? Can you pick up your dress and maybe like give me kind of like one of these little like wavy things? Okay, perfect. If you look through the eyepiece.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, I love that.
And the only thing that I'll do in post-production really is just like applying my general preset, and I'll Photoshop out this line. And I think that little box is in it. Had there been like other little things, like if that door was near the frame, then I would have shot a little bit tighter or chosen a different composition to make sure that I'm showing only the interesting stuff and keeping all the other distractions out of the frame. Will you stand right here, but I almost want you like in between where you can only see the sun in like one eye.
Right here.
Yeah, right there.
Ready?
Slight set, yep, there it is. In this situation where we're finding just like natural light and these like cool shadows, but if you have just like a blank wall and light and anything else that you can just let the light pass through to create those interesting shadows, like I saw this great when I was like moving the shelves to clear out that last composition. So we're just gonna do something similar just to show the concept. It's gonna be very, very similar to what we did, but it's just gonna be like totally different shadows. So something like that, I think. Don't hold it, got it, it's a little heavy. A little bit higher. There it is right there. And then again, like, yeah.
Where do you want that shadow like?
Right there is perfect actually. And this is 85 again. Because again, I want to show as much of what's interesting and as little as everything else. And what's interesting is the shadow and not like the blank wall all around. So I got essentially as far away as I could without showing too much of everything else around the shadow. She's literally been doing the same pose all day and she's hating me for it. Let's see if there's like a different way that we can do this. Okay, relax for 1 second. Let me find my composition. I might go 16. Okay, can I have you come over here? And she's like, there's trash over here. Slide step that way. That's it right there. Perfect. I actually like that, just kind of like straight looking at me. There we go. And then now look that way. And then chin up almost like you're basking in the sunlight. Yeah, you can have your eyes closed too.
Bring to a wedding day.
Most of the time I am shooting 35, 70 to 200 GM and then 24 GM. A lot of the times I like to just like throw in a random lens that I don't use a lot just to kind of spice things up, like throw in a 16 or throw in some random like 50 f1.2 manual focus lens or something like that, just to have something to play with. Like what I'm doing here today is the Sure anamorphic. So every once in a while I'm just taking some anamorphic images just to have something a little bit different.
How long do you usually get with couples on wedding days?
I mean, sometimes an hour, sometimes 15 minutes. Yeah, it really just depends. Sometimes I have 3 hours that the makeup artist takes away and I end up with 15 minutes still. I feel like I should probably make a note of like, don't put my models in high heels because we're gonna do a lot of walking. Because I'm definitely not the type to set up in like one location and like do the whole photo walk there. The 2 lines of tree shadow and then the 2 horizontal line, so it's almost like a box to frame her in. And so that's what initially drew me here, and then we kind of progressed into this, and I got a handful of different versions on the way. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I want you to stand basically where he's standing and then off the wall just a tad. So the other good thing about this setup now is I use it primarily as one light, but in a situation where I need 2 lights, I can just break this apart. Okay, so we're building this up in stages. The first thing I did is I got like a general ambient exposure, a general composition, and now I'm going to light her. Now the trick with setting up your light is that what you can see, your light can see, and then I have a grid on it, so it's just narrowing my vision. So if I just look at tunnel vision, I wanna make sure that, so your pose is gonna be like this, so looking in that general direction. I want to see both eyes, so they're both getting lit, and so I can just like look and see that this is gonna be a generally good lighting position. And my goal is to light her, but the grid keep the light off of this wall. So we're gonna see. Yes, a little bit, just so I can make sure that it's not really hitting the wall. Well, that kind of looks, okay. So look that way just a little bit. There it is. She's gonna be like, oh my God, where are we taking pictures at? This is like, this. I know, right?
Can we get on the ladder?
Maybe, that could actually be cool. We might actually do that there.
Yeah.
So my initial idea is to get this texture onto here, but I'm not a huge fan of this. And so my other idea is to get that texture onto that wall, because it's big and blank, but it might be too far away. So I'm just gonna first see what this looks like before we go further and just see real quick. Oh, this light's really pretty. And will you kind of look that way a little bit? Yeah.
Okay, that's
I want to take that one.
Right, so this is what we were talking about before, like it's looking for the potential of light, right? So we saw an example of this at the beginning of the day going through the grate, going through the trees. But now when we're in here, now we see, oh, what would be cool if the light went through this, and so with off-camera flash, we can do that. The only time I'll use a softbox really is if it's like studio-style portraits, headshots, and then I will use a softbox for like high school senior stuff. Okay, will you hold it like right here? Right about, yeah, right there. Small step to your right, a little bit more, right there. Yep. Oh. So this one will come out in post. There's 2 different flashes, so there's like a crazy color thing now happening. I thought it might be cool to do the same like pattern onto that wall in the back, but then actually put her up on the ladder a little bit so that you can see like the train coming down. So up on it, and ideally it's gonna be this with the dress kind of like coming down the ladder. Do you need help? No, I think that's good. Yeah, because I want you to have be able to kind of like lean on it. In and then elbow, yeah. And then you're just gonna kind of like Wonder Woman, just kind of like looking over your domain, but your domain's over here. Just kind of like let it, yeah, perfect, just like that, yeah.
Please don't give yourself time.
Right? Okay. Okay. Kind of interesting. I'll Photoshop out the door. I'm gonna do a similar thing with getting the light and the texture on that, but I'm curious, it's just gonna go over a lot more of a distance, so I'm not sure how it's gonna transfer. Yeah. Lower that hand just a little bit. A little bit more. There it is. It works, but I like the natural light version better. Awesome, and that is our time. Thank you, Reagan, you were amazing. Thank you for hanging out in the trash.
Where can people go to find out more about you?
Yeah, so come to my Instagram, VinsonImages_Jason. I also have a Patreon for some more premium content and longer form stuff. And then I'm trying to dabble at the little YouTube thing. So I have like a channel that I release a video once a week or once a month or once every 6 months. It just kind of depends. But yeah, you can find me over there too.